You're listening to the Team Stripes podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to episode 93 of the Team Stripes podcast, proudly presented by Acme Whistles, helping you make the big call since 1870. The legendary Acme Thunderer is now available in matte black. Now, Ross, I think we took about a 2-week break,
Yes.
which is A-okay, but we're catching up now. How are you?
I'm good, man. We got a lot to talk about. Something that I didn't talk to you about in the little pre-meet I want to talk about. And then obviously we have to talk about what went down with the Rangers and the Capitals the other night. And the response from the league and the response from the Rangers. So
yeah, do you just want to jump right on into that one then?
I think I want to start with something that's kind of been bugging me.
Okay.
So within our group, we got a phone call. I'm not going to say from who or what or wherever. We got a phone call, and it had to do with some of the clips that we're putting on and whatnot. I just want to let everybody know out there, regardless of what level you're working, whether it's the top or the bottom or anywhere in between, we're not here to call anybody out. We're not here to throw anybody under the bus. Our platform is strictly a teaching tool. We want guys that have the passion for the game, and those who want to learn, we're just trying to help them learn. We're not, like I said, we're not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but we're also not everybody's cheerleader as well. So like if we see something, hey, yeah, here's what happened. Here's what we as referees could do better in this situation. So this is all for learning. This is all for teaching. When we discuss these clips, these are solely mine and Brendan's opinions. The opinions of whether it be people at whether USA Hockey or Hockey Canada or the 3-letter leagues, whatever, it might be taught differently, but we're just going off of our experience on the ice, what we've been taught coming up through. And we're not, like I said, we're not trying to call anybody out, not trying to throw anybody under the bus. All we want to do is expand the game. We want to help officials, and all the clips that we're using are strictly for teaching. It's not to call anybody out. So that's been bothering me. I had to get that off my chest. I want to make sure that message is heard by everybody. We're not trying to throw anyone under the bus and say, oh, so-and-so missed this. Here's what we could have done better. No, that's not what our platform's all about. Our platform is, hey, here's this clip. Here's how we should handle it, or here's how we could handle it. It has nothing to do with the call that was made on the ice for the clip. And it doesn't matter if we're using a 3-letter league clip, or if we're using a clip from a junior game, or if we're using a clip from youth hockey. So obviously we're using most of our video that we have is from the NHL. But again, we're not trying to throw anybody under the bus. Brendan knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. The biggest thing for that is it's our opinions. I mean,
yes,
that to me is probably one of the best and also worst things about refereeing is all the different opinions. I mean, there is no one right way.
There isn't.
Yeah. I mean, how I call a game is going to be completely different from how somebody else calls a game, and that's A-okay. We are strictly just giving you what we would do in that situation based on our experiences. So
exactly. And if anyone ever has any kind of issue with anything, and I am more than willing to answer. If you guys want to shoot me a message through Facebook, or those are the guys that listens that have my personal number, like any of you guys have anything you ever want to talk about, pick up the phone, let me know, because I will be more than happy to either A, have you on so you can talk about your opinion, or B, say, hey, I got a message from so-and-so, or if you don't want to be named, and just say, hey, I got a message, here's what they said about this clip, and here's their opinion. So it's an open forum for everybody. This goes to the Facebook group as well. If you guys have anything, feel free to message us or post something in the group, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is an open forum for everybody. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is help everybody out, try to make better officials, make good content for everybody to listen to, and at the end of the day, really tell everybody's story. When we have guests on, we're having guys on and girls on to tell their story. That's really what it is. So with that, I think we have to move on to the incident that occurred. What's today? Wednesday. So Monday night.
Yep.
Was it Monday night?
It would have been Monday or Sunday, one of the two.
Monday, I believe. Yeah, because me and my roommate were watching Monday Night Raw, and he showed me the video. So I'm just gonna say it because I think Tom Wilson needs to go. I think he needs to be out of the league. I really wish the Department of Player Safety would not have. They dropped the ball on this, fining a guy $5,000. That's it. For attacking a player as he's going to the ice, punching him in the back of the head multiple times. I mean, I get, the call, whatever. It was a double minor 10, whatever. I'm just, as far as the supplemental discipline goes, I'm over it. I'm over it with him. I am 100% over it with him.
Okay, so here's my take on it. And everybody's screaming and yelling about what he did to Panarin. To me, what he did to Panarin.
That's not even what I'm upset about.
No, there's absolutely nothing that I would have done differently in the Panarin Wilson situation.
Thing was secondary to the initial.
The punch to the back of the guy's head while he's on the ice, defenseless, to me warrants a match penalty, no questions asked.
And this isn't, I will say, like, where the play was, it was very easy for it to go unseen. And we're not criticizing anyone here. We're just not.
No.
So I just, that punch to the back of the head there, and this is not a referee problem, okay? This isn't a ref problem, because even if they're giving him, regardless of the penalty they give him on the ice, they could have given him a match, they could have given him the double minor and 10 like they did, whatever the referees do on the ice, we're making the right call with the information that we have in front of us, okay? So we're not criticizing them here. The criticism here is on the Department of Player Safety. That's where I have the issue. And it should have been suspended for it.
Yes, I don't disagree with that, but I also think, like, Crosby did it the next night. Crosby did it Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby did the exact same thing Tuesday night, and nobody's calling for Crosby's head. He didn't even get fined.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see it because I didn't really watch any hockey last night. But if we're trying to get rid of this kind of stuff in the game, the shots to the head, whatever, this is something that it doesn't matter who catches it, whether it's the officials on the ice, whether it's the two referees, two of the linesmen, or supplemental discipline interview. It just, and to go along with it, obviously the Rangers released their statement, which we've posted on the podcast, on the Facebook group. I think everyone's read it or heard it at this time. I mean, I have to agree with them, like, it's just one of those things, like, what happened to Panarin. Yeah, I'm more upset about what he did to Buchnevich, where I guess he didn't get hurt. He got right up and joined the play again. But that's what I'm more upset about.
Same, but I think that's the biggest issue, is everybody's so concerned about what happened to Panarin. And here's probably the one and only time I will come to Wilson's defense, is Panarin jumped him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Plain and simple, Panarin jumped on the guy's back. At that point, Panarin has become a willing combatant.
Yep. Well, yeah, you should know better than to just jump on a guy's back like that. Yep. Like, you can't. Now, obviously, like, there's a body slam there. Wait, I'm sorry. It wasn't Panarin that jumped on Wilson's back. It was,
he was the second one to jump on.
No, it was 16 that jumped on his back originally.
But then Panarin came up on top.
Yeah, okay. And then Wilson body slammed him to the ice, which was excessive.
Excessive, but not suspension worthy.
I mean, he didn't have his helmet on though. That's the only thing. That's I
Strap it up better than Panarin.
yeah.
If
Well,
you want to be a willing combatant and go into a fight, I
mhm.
don't care if it's a scrum, a fight, or whatever, and your helmet pops off because you wear it, like it's
Yeah.
like you're not going to
I
get body
just
checked in a hockey game, and your helmet comes off, that's on you.
yeah. It's just, man, Wilson can't be body slamming guys like that. He can't be punching guys when they're on the ice defenseless. It's just complete. It's unfortunate. It sucks. And now, you got two guys, you got a different crew working the game tonight. I think the linesmen are the same. The referees are not. But even still, regardless of that, it's going to be an interesting game to watch when that puck drops tonight.
Yeah.
One of two things are going to happen. Either, did you see George Laraque tweeted at the Rangers?
No.
George Laraque tweeted at the Rangers, "Hey, at New York Rangers, I'm available tonight to take care of Tom Wilson for you."
Here's the thing though. Like, hockey needs that back.
Yeah.
Like, hockey doesn't need the line brawls, but they need the George Laraque, the Brian McGrattens, the Bob Proberts that if something like what happened to and what Wilson did, somebody's going to answer the bell.
Yep.
And New York doesn't really have anybody to answer that bell.
No, they really don't. That's why I think earlier today they called up Doug Glatt from the Halifax.
But then
the Halifax Islanders.
Yeah, but that's also why Wilson feels like he can take these shots.
Yep.
Because there's not going to be. I have a strong feeling whoever is going to fight him tonight is not going to come out on the winning end.
No, probably not, because they don't have anybody unless they're going to call somebody up from Hartford.
Exactly.
Which I don't even know if they have anybody available that, like,
who knows? But like,
maybe Butch Navich fights him, but I don't think he's a fighter.
No.
It's just, the whole thing's just unfortunate. I think so. There's 3 games left in the regular season, I believe, for the Caps. Just suspend him the last 3 games. Like, how hard would that have been? Or at least if they're playing the Rangers tonight and not the next game, suspend them for 1. And then you don't have it, clean up the problem, suspend them for a game, and be done with it.
But you're still going to have people that want him out of the league.
Well, yeah. I mean, like,
so it's
like
not
me.
taking...
I'm so over him. Like, what's it going to take for him to, like, what's he going to have to do to somebody? He just came off, a 7-game suspension just a few weeks ago?
Yes. But then, okay, so in a perfect world, let's say you do suspend him 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
The next, or one of the other clips on there, is Crosby doing the damn same thing, putting a guy's head into the ice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now
suspend
we're going to...
There's no reason why any player, whether you're a number 97, 87, 8, or a 43, or let's see, we had Edler with the knee, or a Ryan Reeves, like, every player, regardless of who they are, whether you're the points leader, the PIMS leader, or someone in between, you should get treated exactly the same way by Department of Player Safety.
I'm also kind of curious. This is more so for public outcry than anything. Are people mad? Because everything I saw, people were more mad about the Panarin body slam.
Yeah.
Is it because he was hurt, which obviously is unfortunate. That obviously sucks.
Oh yeah, it sucks for Panarin that he got his bell rung.
Exactly.
Bounced his head off the ice, and now he's out for the rest. I mean, the rest of the season's only 3 games. But it's just one of those concussion things that, you know.
But are people more worried that it was Panarin getting, because nobody really said anything about the punch.
Yeah, and that's kind of the mind-blowing thing, because, like, for me, when I saw the video, like, Panarin was even secondary to me. That was nothing. That nothing. Punch is really what set me off.
Yep.
Like, you can't hit a guy like that. And I think the focus on it was so on Panarin. Like, even the Rangers statement talking about, like, they said Panarin.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about him punching a guy in the back of the head who's laying on the ice with his hands behind his back.
Yep. A completely defenseless player.
So whatever, like I think we're not in that position, obviously, but
Well, then
not
even
saying that Department of Player Safety has a easy job, but sometimes it's kind of easy.
it would have been an easy suspension to give out
Mm-hmm.
instead of the 5K fine, not for what he did with Panarin, but what he did
Yep.
to Buchnevich, I believe, was the guy he punched in the head.
But and this is a discussion I had with a buddy of mine. Like, what's going to stop now Panarin from walking into the room before the game tonight, putting $5,000 cash on the board with a thumbtack, and says, "Whoever gets Wilson, if you get fined, I'm paying for it." Like, what's going to stop that from happening?
I mean, if we're being honest, I would. in a heartbeat. If I was on the New York Rangers, my one sole purpose for this game would be to absolutely destroy
I
Wilson.
think I read that Ovi's going to be a healthy scratch tonight.
Honestly, probably for the safety.
Well, yeah. Well, duh. Like, it makes sense. I mean, but I don't think no one's going to go after Ovi. Okay.
Why not? You went after my star player.
Yeah, but
I don't disagree. But you want to go eye for an eye. I agree with. But you want to go eye for an eye here? Let's go eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Like, let's kick this shit old school. Eye for an eye right now.
Yeah. And it's definitely going to be an interesting game tonight. As I'm scrolling through hockey Twitter. Let's see here.
All I know is Tom Wilson better be in the starting lineup.
Am I seeing this right? That the Rangers fired John Davison? Why? Because of what they said on TV last night?
That I'm not sure about. I was on the golf course today when that came out, so I haven't really looked into it. All I know is they fired GM or just GM and hockey ops, something like that.
Yeah.
My guess it's because of the statement.
Oh, so it was either they fined the league was going to fine the team, or they had to fire him.
I think it's one of those things where the league was either going to fine or they can just get rid of them and pretend it never happened.
Fine and suspend, or you fire them.
Because it's not a good look when you're talking out against the league.
I don't know. Sometimes things have to be said.
I don't disagree. I do think, though, I really wish they would have paid more attention to the punch rather than the body slam.
Yeah, that's the problem that I have.
Like, if I was Buchnevich, I would go to the Rangers brass and be like, so what he did to me was okay because I'm not hurt, or is it because I'm not a star player?
The Rangers have named Chris Drury president and GM. I'm not sure if...
Congrats to Chris Drury.
I'm not sure. Is that confirmed?
Yeah. After they fired him,
okay.
They I don't want to say hired, but promoted.
Darren Dreger notes that the firing was unrelated to the team statement made by the Rangers Tuesday regarding the incident. Okay.
I mean, maybe it was. Maybe.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe they probably did it ahead of time because maybe they were planning on firing them anyway at the end of the season.
Now it's just a really tough time to fire them, though.
Yeah.
But do you want to move on to some different clips?
Yeah, let's move on to other stuff. Otherwise, we could sit here and waste an hour talking about this. I'm just disappointed with the outcome of it. I think Tom Wilson is.
Here's the thing, though.
I know if I was on the ice with him, I just wouldn't let him get near me.
Every other GM would happily take him on their team.
I don't know if every other, but most probably.
Maybe unless it's the Rangers, but that's 31 out of the 32 NHL teams would love to have a guy like that.
Okay, well, let's move on. before I get more fired up and say something I'm gonna regret.
Where do you want to start? That's the real question. Because we
Well,
have a bunch.
we'll just go back a couple weeks here. So we know the knee on knee hit from Edler got him suspended for 2 games. That's an easy call. We clearly just sticks his leg out. Really not much to talk about there.
5-game called on the ice.
I loved this clip. The breakaway, empty net, the hook, and the awarded goal.
Yep.
Don't get to see that often. Love it. I love that the team's selling. Even like the puck doesn't go in the net. Like it was just great.
The only way to make that just a wee bit better is if the referee, and I believe it was Gord Dwyer, just absolutely just starts pumping it. Just
the net.
Pumps it. Because all he does is like arm up and then he points for the goal. Like if that's me, like I'm pumping that thing just to be like
that's the only thing there is that's just a fuck you.
Exactly.
When you pump it. And I don't know, man. I don't know if you're doing that in the NHL.
But that's because I'm not there. So
yeah, I know. We it's easy to say when we're sitting on the couch.
Nor am I a referee, so I wouldn't even get to pump it out,
Okay, that trip, nothing there.
And then
this looks like the same game. We got a little that cross check there. Man, in lower levels that we work, that's easy. 5-game pro hockey.
Are you talking about the little cross check to the back?
Yeah, the cross check to the back.
Yeah, those are. I don't disagree.
I
have
a huge issue with guys like, and I call this shit all the fucking time down here. Pardon the language, sorry. When guys push down on a guy's pants and they fall backwards,
it's a penalty.
I call that all the damn time.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you. I probably call that at least twice a game in juniors.
Yeah.
At least.
Even when it's just like a little battle out front and the guy goes down for the pants, like I call it a cross check every time.
Yeah. Well, because and I tell guys, well, is it a penalty? Well, think about it. If you cross check him like that and he falls backwards and hits his head on the ice, he could be seriously injured.
Those are like
kids are like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, those ones are like the career-ending ones.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, I mean, obviously, it looks like the low referee had a penalty there. I'm not sure what they called, but in lower levels of hockey, 5-game, 210, either or. Obviously, he goes feet first into the boards. So in USA, you do have that. I would say 210 is your starting point. If he is injured, then you go 5-game. If he is not injured, 210 is acceptable.
Yep.
Again, because feet first. Now head first, different story. But feet first in the boards. If he's not injured, just dangerous play. 210. Minor board, minor cross check at maybe the junior level. But obviously, if he's hurt, different story. Then we're going either 5-game, DQ, whatever.
One of the clips that I really want to talk about, and I want to say it's definitely one of the Hughes brothers. I want to say it's Jack's the one that plays in New Jersey on the Devils. He ended up getting a 10-minute misconduct after the easiest tripping call I think ever called in a game. He goes, shoots the puck right in front of the ref, but it's one of those ones where like,
oh yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, he shoots it away from him and bangs the stick on the boards.
Yeah, so, and then he's skating to the box and bangs a stick one more time for good measure, and then he gets dinged with a 10. And I just want to say I absolutely love that.
Yeah, so like we're shooting the puck away. Okay, he doesn't shoot at the referee. I get it. You're frustrated. You bang your stick on the boards. Okay, don't do it again. But then you do it one more time. Okay, yeah, it's time to sit.
I absolutely love that call. Just due to the simple fact of like the amount of times we see that happen in youth hockey. Like the fact that it happened in a National Hockey League game, it just makes me so happy.
Yep. So then we have a perfect example of the difference between a check from behind in youth hockey and not a penalty in pro hockey. Well, okay. I maybe I should change that because he is bleeding now that the Tenorti hit from behind. I'm not sure if well, he did spin into it. He should know where the guy is. Easy 5 game in youth. I'm not sure what they called here.
Are we talking the Washington Boston
Yeah,
game?
Washington Boston game, the hit on Tenorti in the corner.
My issue is he puts himself in a bad spot.
Yeah.
He
And
knows the
that's-
hit's coming
yeah,
and he
okay,
turns.
So yeah, so no calls made here by the officials on the ice, which in pro hockey, I'm okay. You know, you spin your back. You know that guy's coming. You put yourself in that position. You play in the best league in the world. You're better than that. Now, if we're talking junior or youth hockey, bye-bye. Go sit.
Yeah, I mean, especially youth hockey. But
Yeah.
like, here's the thing: like, the Caps player doesn't like extend through his hip by
No,
any means. Like,
Tenorti just went into the boards funny. Like if you watch
it's
it,
because he
the
turned.
Caps player even lets up.
Yep.
He doesn't drive through it. And the Caps player's turning like
Yeah, like what do you want me to do there? You spin at the last second. What do
Yep.
you honestly want me to do there? Yeah, I understand in youth hockey we're probably going 5 games just because of there is blood, but then also in a youth game, his head doesn't smash into the dasher, so like you could probably get away with a 210.
Well, it really just depends on if the initial point of contact with the boards is the head or not. That's really what it
Exactly.
boils down to.
But that's one of those tough ones where like pro hockey, it's not a penalty because he puts himself in a bad spot.
Now I'm looking at this trip.
The Ristolainen
in the
trip.
Yeah, in the Bruins game.
Here's my thing on this one. Like, okay, yes, it's a trip. Youth hockey, like, he's still going to make a hockey play. It's just a bad hockey play. It's just an unfortunate hockey play. Like, he did not mean to trip him. He goes to swipe the puck, misses, trips the Boston guy. Boston guy goes head first into the boards. Pro hockey, they definitely called a 2 on the play for trip, which I'm okay with. I think in youth hockey, I know USA, we have the standalone major for a trip.
Yeah.
I think
you could justify it.
I think this would be a good time to pull it out because you say, hey, coach, like, I understand your kid went headfirst into the boards, but that was just an unfortunate hockey play.
Yeah.
There was no real, like, he didn't stick his stick out.
There was no intent to injure the guy. Correct. Like, it's a play that went wrong. So yeah, standalone major's fine there.
As long as if the kid's hurt, hands are tied. Sorry. Tough shit. But like, more than likely,
I think, you could get away with the standalone major still because it wasn't. I don't necessarily think you need to call a game on that even if the kid's hurt, because like, yeah, he tripped him. It's major trip because I went on the boards and whatnot. But at the same time, like, is it the momentum of the guy's, where he's skating and he's not trying to actually injure the guy. Just because there's an injury doesn't mean you have to, like, you don't have to. You should, but like on a situation like that, I'd be okay with just a standalone major.
And either way, like the one team's getting a 5-minute power play.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's not.
I look at it this way: that kid. So let's say this is youth game. The Buffalo player, his intent's not to injure the guy. The kid's he's still trying to play hockey. Okay. This isn't an incident where the player decided, I don't want to play hockey anymore. I want to injure this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I would allow that kid to stay in the game.
I agree 100%. That's, if you have the major for a trip, standalone major for a trip, use it. I think I've used it maybe once in my
Tom
career.
Wilson's
Tom
back.
Wilson yet again. I was going to say, just wait for this next clip.
This one it looks worse than what it was.
I was going to say I have zero issues with, like,
now
Boston guys falling down.
Did Wilson attempt to chicken wing him?
Maybe, but he didn't.
But
I can't call an attempted penalty.
So I got 2 messages from different people after texting TJ. Now I have 2 people texting me. TJ's got a big game tonight.
No, but this Wilson hit, like, to me, there's nothing on this one. Like, Boston guy just goes down. Like, yeah, he kind of gets contact in the back of the head, but Wilson's already committed to a hit. He can't bail out as late as it was, unfortunately. but I would be extremely happy with a no call. The next clip, though, that we got is Mr. Connor McDavid. I don't know what he's up to this season, but he is getting grimy.
What do you
It's
do?
a little straight elbow to Perry's head as he's crossing the blue line right in front of the linesman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a $5,000 fine if I've ever seen one.
Suspend him.
Well, I mean, if
Suspend him.
if we're going by the standard that we've set,
No,
$5,000 fine.
But here's the thing.
That should be a suspension.
Here's the thing. Here's what really grinds my gears about the NHL right now, and not even just the NHL, but the NHL fan base. If that's Tom Wilson making that hit like McDavid did, people want him suspended for 27,000 games. McDavid does it. Nobody says, well, unless you're a Montreal fan, nobody says boo. And then on top of that, he doesn't even get fined.
Yeah.
Now, if
Was
I'm
there a
that
call
line,
on the ice?
no.
Okay.
If I'm that linesman, I'm calling a 5 game just for the simple fact of that is not a hockey play.
Yeah.
The puck was on the other side of the ice, and he goes to elbow a guy in the head. But because he's Connor McDavid, he's allowed to.
Yeah. And see, we can't have that.
Like,
What's a penalty for Tom Wilson is a
should
penalty
be a penalty for everybody else.
Is a penalty for Crosby, is a penalty for Ryan Reeves, or anyone in between. Like,
and I don't disagree there. I mean, plain and simple.
And I don't know how to say this. Like, I feel like everyone gets just so wrapped up, whether it be about the star players or the lesser players, whatever. I know for me, when I'm working a game, especially like, I mean, we're not working these levels, but you know, there's some really good hockey players in the leagues that I work. And I don't treat them differently. I might talk to them differently because they're a little smarter than, you know, the knuckle dragger in the middle of the bench. But as far as when it comes to applying penalties, I don't care if you're the leading goal scorer on the team or the grocery stick. You're getting a penalty if you do something. And I think that's just something that we need more of across the board. And this isn't just a problem at the top. I think it's across the board, whatever level you're working, treat guys exactly the same as far as your penalty standard. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, I love, you know, calling penalty. The guy's like, oh, it's my best player. Why are you calling that? Well, if he's your best player, he should fucking know better.
Exactly.
He doesn't need to be doing that dumb shit.
I love that you brought that up because I mean, in youth hockey, you don't really know who you're getting. I mean, like, sure, like at this point of the, you know, not even I should say of the season because we're in the off season, but like towards the end of the year, you've more than likely seen the team enough times to know who the meatheads are and who the skill players are.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't care who you are. I truly don't. Like, if you're a meathead and you go and score a hat trick, like, good on you. And if you're the star and you go and elbow a guy in the head, well, you're getting a penalty.
And I'll tell you, like, as a linesman at the levels that I've worked, my best friends are the meatheads.
Yeah. Because
my best friends are the fighters.
Those are the best guys.
I love those guys.
Yep.
Because when you get to a point where you build a rapport with those kind of guys, they'll come over to you. Hey, just so you know, we're going to fight this shift. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it was always funny. I had a kid. He aged out now, but whenever he was playing juniors, I would always look at him, and I think he maybe would get like 3 points a season. And I would look at him before every period. We would walk out right by him, and I would just look at him and be like, "Hey, what's this period gonna look like?" And he would always he would always be like, "I'm gonna fight the guy, I'm gonna kill the guy, or nothing's gonna happen." And he would every time he stuck to his word too. Like there was some periods where it was some games like second period, he would look at me and be like, "Yeah, I don't want to play anymore. I'm gonna kill the guy." And 5 minutes into the second period, what happens? He dummies a guy in the head for a 5 game. And like you just sit there and you're like, well, I mean, you did warn me, so that's convenient. I mean, I just don't understand why.
Well, it's one of those things that's just always been a thing in the NHL. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the league. I'm not talking, whatever, but it's just one of those things that it's always been an issue with like some guys have always gotten away with stuff. And really, if you want to bring up the most I'm not going to go there. I was going to say, if you want to bring up, I'm not going there because the path that I was about to go down has been beaten by it's been a dead horse that's been beaten since 1993. And I think Brendan knows what I was going to talk about, but I'm not talking about it.
No, we're just going to skip over, pretend we never even heard that. No, nobody heard anything.
Those of you that have been hockey fans long enough, you know what I was going to reference in 1993.
One last clip I want to talk about is in the Buffalo Islanders game. I want to say it was last night. The Islanders had a goal disallowed for goaltender interference.
I have a question. Have the Kings been wearing the 90s Kings jersey all year? Or was that like a throwback jersey night?
The purple
ones? The clip against the Ducks, where the Ducks were wearing the orange.
Oh, no, those were a throwback one.
Okay, I was like, did they change to their 90s unis without me knowing?
No, because I think that's what they did for the reverse retro because LA was home for that game.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think it was the reverse retros, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Because I got excited for a second.
Yeah,
and that's what
I wish.
And those sweaters is what reminded me of 1993.
I mean, they're just some good-looking sweaters. That's all,
right?
But goal or no goal in the Buffalo Islanders game? Because for me, I have a goal. I have two guys battling out front, and the Buffalo guy directs him in.
I love my Sabres fans. I love the Sabres. I was just like, they were one of my teams when I was a kid because of Hasek and LaFontaine and Mike Pekka and Matthew Barnaby. Like, I was a little bit of a Sabres fan, and I still believe that Brett Hull's foot was in the crease. Okay. No goal. That's a goal.
Yeah.
Defenseman straight up pushes the Islanders player into the goalie. And unfortunately, that's just the way that the year's going for the Sabres. And I know they're very happy that the season's almost over.
Oh, I mean, they're just... Yeah, you almost feel bad for Buffalo at this point. Like, you're just like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should wave this goal off just because it's Buffalo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
Obviously. But, I mean, yeah, I have a good goal there just because the Buffalo guy does direct the Islanders player into the net. But, yeah, but besides that, I mean, Ross, I don't know about you. I don't have a whole lot to talk about for this episode.
Well, I mean, we've kind of talked about a lot. I kind of went off on a rant on how I feel about Tom Wilson. Kind of upset with Department of Player Safety, and I don't know. Here's a little hypothetical for you. Sure. Department of Player Safety, let's say, removes George Parros. Okay.
Whether you think he's done a good job or not, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to fill that spot, would you put in a referee?
I'd bring back Brendan Shanahan.
Okay, that's fair.
I want the Shanahan band back.
It was but here's the thing: it was a great standard that he set.
I thought he was so good at it. I don't think you can have a referee in that position. I don't. It's one of those things. As much as I would love to see, like, oh man, I could name some of the guys that have supervised me over the years that I would love to have in that position.
I mean, let's even just Kerry Fraser. Or Wes McCauley down the road. Obviously, he's still skating.
Now, how about this? What about like two players and a referee? Or
that's what I was thinking. I was honestly,
or two refs and a player, or a ref, a player, and a former GM that's not doing anything anymore,
or even a coach,
or a former coach. Yeah, I think maybe that could be the route to go. There's some referees that I would not mind seeing there, but I don't think it could be a referee. just because I think there could be some bias, like as far as sticking up for their guys.
Which is fair, but that's also why I think rather than making it a one-person job, make it a committee.
Well, I don't think it's a one-person job.
No,
I don't think it's just George Peros. Like,
No.
obviously there's people in the league that work for him.
But let's openly make it a committee. Like,
Yeah.
let's make it a jury, and let's put a referee, a linesman, a coach, a former player, and then an executive. Make it 5 guys for all I care. I mean, the more opinions, the better.
And then you just have 9 guys.
Yeah, have a vote.
Make
And
it the
literally-
Supreme Court of hockey.
It would be great because the suspensions would be like, and in a vote count of 5-4, and you're just like, ooh, this was a close one. Like,
Yep.
okay, like I honestly wouldn't be against seeing that at all.
I wouldn't be either. I think they're doing for the most part, they do a really good job. I think it could be done better.
But everything could be done better.
I mean,
so
everything could be done better. I mean, I could be a better referee, but I'm not. So
I was gonna say, but yet here we are.
yeah, here we are. I don't know. I mean, there's some. Just trying to think, like who, either like a Brendan Shanahan or, I mean, I know they're current GMs, but like a Joe Sakic or a Steve Yzerman
Mhm.
or Paul Correa, like.
That would be an interesting one.
I think Paul Correa would, as a guy that, got hit in the head a couple of times, I think, and he's not around. He just recently came back to being around the game of hockey. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like that. I mean, Peros was a fighter. I wouldn't mind having, maybe a John Scott.
Yeah, I almost feel like you kind of need like a fighter, a skill guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need the even balance that like both guys kind of see because they see the role.
Have Paul Correa and Scott Stevens do it.
Perfect. They would get
with
along
their
so
history.
Well. Yeah, it would be perfect.
But
everything would be undecided.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just Tom Wilson just drives me nuts. And you know what? I'm sure he's a good dude off the ice. He might not be. Who knows? But it's just one of those things, man. Like, whenever there's a clip out of the Caps game, oh great, what did he do now? Like, because it's never anybody else with the Capitals.
No, it's always Tom Wilson.
It's always Tom Wilson. So,
but I mean,
I don't know. I just hope that moving forward, teams maybe be a little smarter about the statements they make. Maybe, the league do their thing as far as let's maybe suspend a guy that punches a guy in the back of the head for no reason while he's defenseless. I have like the officiating, no issue with that. I mean,
none whatsoever.
Stuff happens. So double minor 10, 14 minutes. I'm not sure how much time was left in the game when that happened.
12:24 left in the second.
So they got rid of him in the second period. So he didn't come back till the third.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a guy that works that league, and I'm not gonna say. I don't know what else to assess there. I mean,
I think if you wanted him out of the game, you could call him an aggressor.
Yeah. They very easily could have gotten him out.
But then I don't know if they have that.
If they wanted to.
Do they have that in the NHL rulebook?
Of course they do.
I mean, I
Skater,
figured
aggressor,
they would, but
yeah. I don't know. I don't want to go down. I don't want to.
I loved the 4 and 10.
Yeah, so do I.
When I saw what they called, like I was gonna go double minor, rough, and a 10.
Yeah.
Now looking back on it, looking at our perfect replay, seeing it 1,000 times,
and that's the other thing too. Like the other thing that we have with this podcast is I have the luxury of sitting here and watching this video over and over and over and over and over again on repeat.
What do you think I was doing?
And the first time I saw the video and watching the play the way I was, I didn't catch the punch to the head.
No, because I was waiting for the Panarin stuff.
And well, I didn't even like when I watched it first look, I didn't realize like the Panarin body slam wasn't I was like, okay, so he body slammed him. There was a scrum. I didn't even see the initial, like, what set everything off. And it's just one of those things. Like, our game happens so fast that we, it is what it is.
I don't disagree at all, but I think with
And the
that,
guys on the ice did a freaking great job. The kudos to Ryan Daisy and Tony Saracolo for getting in there and doing their thing, being awesome linesmen as they are. I know Daisy and Tony are on the game tonight on the lines.
they should have a
It's
fun one.
TJ Luxmore and Ian Walsh refereeing the game tonight. I don't know. I was just one of the guys was just texting, goes, "There's nothing's going to happen tonight. The Rangers don't have anybody."
No, yeah, it's going to be a snooze fest.
So
probably.
it'll probably be a very quiet game tonight. I don't think any, especially with GM and president getting fired and this and that. I think the league probably already called both teams like, hey, don't do anything stupid tonight because the War Room is only going to be watching your game, kind of thing.
I think everybody's going to be watching the game.
Yeah, it'll be much to do about nothing.
It will,
and it'll end up being water under the bridge. And I was hoping maybe they'd sign George Laraque for a 5-minute contract.
That would be great. But I think with that, we're going to end episode 93.
Yeah, episode 93. I think we got some ad reads we got to do.
Yeah. Do you want to do the Hockey Ref Shop one? I have it pulled up. If you don't,
you have it pulled up. Go for it.
All right. Hockey Ref Shop. Hockey Ref Shop is the official U.S. equipment supplier of Team Stripes. They carry a variety of referee products, including beginner packages, sweaters, pants, accessories, protective equipment, fun referee-themed products, and more. They pride themselves on having great service from experienced officials and super fast shipping. Visit hockeyrefshop.com to place an order today. And as always, thank you guys for listening. I promise we will be a lot more consistent in posting these. We had a 2-week break.
Yeah, Brendan had an unfortunate arson incident at his apartment complex.
Okay, that's a story for itself. I mean, that's a whole story for a different day at this point.
Okay, we'll do a special episode of Brendan's fire.
Oh man, it was what a past 2 weeks it's been. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, and two, like, we're at the end of school, it's finals week.
I was gonna say my finals are next week.
I have one final left, and I got 2 weeks off until school starts again for summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I am taking a break. I'm actually doing a mini camp this weekend for some of our refs. Our junior team has their tryouts, and instead of my fat ass skating up and down the ice by myself, I got some of our young kids that deserve a chance to skate and to see how they're going to do with juniors. So I invited 5 guys to come skate. Everyone's going to ref. Everyone's going to line. I think I might have to skate a little bit because 2 of the guys aren't available right off the rip. So I think the first hour or 2, I might be on the ice just lining. But I'm just happy I don't have to skate up and down.
I was going to say, I would just be happy to line.
Yep. So
who wants to be a ref anyway?
I think, I mean, I wanted to. And then they wouldn't let me. Every time I asked to be a referee, Leaky would just laugh at me. Be like, hey, Lee, can I ref? You're funny, Ross. That'd be the end of it.
But I think with that, episode 93 is officially done and dusted. We'll be back next week with more.
Yes, we will. Take it easy, fellas.